Young teenager Noe is trying to live a peaceful life in a world where disasters and monsters that want to end the world are a threat. He had a lifelong desire to possess the ability to transform into the heroic Dew Saber and Blade who battle disasters and save lives. However, one day Noe witnesses a hero beating his friend, revealing that all there are in the game are NPCs. In order to defend his friend, he unleashes a mysterious power that makes him the strongest NPC. Noe is your typical carefree boy living a normal life with his classmates. Prior to the disaster siren sounding the alarm and ordering everyone to seek shelter, everyone begins to panic and takes off running. Noe, on the other hand, rushes to the roof in anticipation of the disaster attack. The monster spots him on the school rooftop and tries to attack him, but is repulsed by a barrier that surrounds the building. Then Team Saber, a group of heroes who defend the world from disaster monsters, appears to Noe. With the help of their gunpowder and well-planned attacks, the team quickly ends the disaster. Noe returns to the classroom while declaring his desire to become a Blade or Saber, two types of heroes who battle to defend the world from the disaster monsters. After class, Noe runs into Modus, a new student who switched into his class. She quickly declares her love for him and invites him out on a date. When Noe's friend Cass, who is walking by, overhears this, she immediately begins to flee. She loves Noe too, after all. He decides to pick up the phone and pursue her after quickly noticing that she fled after dropping her phone. On the rooftop, he approaches her quickly. The same place experiences an unexpected disaster. Noe tries to flee with Cass and drags her into a storage room where he discovers an axe and decides to fight the disaster, allowing his childhood friend to escape. They manage to get past the security fence surrounding the school. Noe charges headlong into combat with the monster and buys some time. While attempting to strike back after blocking some of the monster's blows, he is punched away. He attempts to be killed by the disaster, but an unexpected Blade hero appears and cuts the disaster in half. The body part of the upper disaster, however, is still active and engages in combat. Its helmet was cut off by the hero, who also revealed himself. New transfer students Modus, once more attacking, the disaster pierces her abdomen and compels her to drop her weapon. Before the disaster claims her life, Noe grabs her sword and pierces it quickly. She takes him but quickly departs after getting his assurance that he won't reveal who she is. Modus make Noe skip school the following day so they can go on a date. The emergency siren suddenly starts to sound once more. Modus begins the store's evacuation as they shop for clothing, and Noe rushes outside to check on the situation. When he approaches the scene of the disaster, the monster spots him and begins pursuing him. While trying to escape, he stumbles unexpectedly, but a girl with a blade saves him by slashing the monster away. The girl is shot by another Saber girl despite realizing who Noe is immediately. As the Blade girl approaches them and warns Noe to avoid the girl he just saved, he takes her away, whereupon she heals. During their fight, Saber tells him about the blonde girl killing other heroes. Noe is confused by the situation and disagrees that heroes need to engage in combat. The blonde girl's life is on the verge of being ended by the Saber girl, but nobody intervenes and saves the blondie by throwing a stone. Then he asks, why are the world's heroes fighting each other instead of fighting the disasters that are the real threat? Blondie quickly instructs him to stop talking because non-playable characters or NPCs shouldn't annoy players. As Noe struggles to understand what she meant, she seizes the opportunity to hostages him. Modus appears to save him, but Blondie's skill quickly restrains everyone, preventing any chance of escape. He receives a brief explanation of his fake world from the blonde girl. Just an online game, really. He is not real. He's just a programmed character in game who will continue to perform the same menial tasks and lead a routine existence. Additionally, he will never achieve his goal of becoming a hero, mainly because he isn't a true player. The heroes can only be actual players. Noe breaks down in tears as he realizes that all of his memories are false. His entire life, including all of the times he spent with friends and family, was false. Then, as Cass gets closer, he hears her yell at Blondie to release Noe. Blondie begins to beat her up despite the fact that she is just another NPC and will react the following day if killed. Blondie starts to beg Noe to stop, but she just keeps hitting Cass more frequently. Noe's body begins to glow as a result of his enraged emotions and desire to protect Cass. The same power also cuts the cords holding him in place. In a flash, he punches Blondie and throws the object at her. She easily sidesteps it, but when it hits her from behind, it boomerangs back and causes her to disappear. He eventually gains access to her abilities, becoming the first NPC to ever kill a player, and the first to ever join the team. Cass is put to rest as Noe and Modus quickly return to his home. There, Modus uncovers all of the world's secrets as well as who she really is, even mentioning that a 10-year-old accident has left her crippled in real life. When Noe leaves the room, the Night Room pins him up against the wall. They are a system that eliminates bugs from the game. They thought Noe was a bug, but then Modus shows up and says he's just a regular player, not even an NPC. As a result, Noi's information is not corrupt. When Modus is made to log out, some strange individuals in masks come to Noi's aid. He is brought to their hiding place where he meets a young boy. The young boy introduces himself as the figurehead of the highly advanced error system known as Chou, and transfers his executive power to Noi, proclaiming that he holds the key to changing this world and the only chance for its existence. Modus confronts her uncle about Guerrillo, who developed the virtual reality system with her parents in the real world. Her butler was forced to look into what happened 10 years ago after her uncle dismissed the claim. The following day, Noi resumes his regular school activities, but an emergency arises when the explosive witch breaches the school's security perimeter. In an effort to band together to stop the catastrophe, Noi, Modus, and her bodyguards try, but Noi is unable to summon his weapon. Due to his lack of a weapon, the disaster punched him, knocking him out. The disaster then decides to kill him with a fire attack, but is hit by a sniper shot from sabers. Noi eventually awakens after Modus quickly uses a healing item to return his health to normal. But he is different, charging headlong into the battle while pledging to defend everyone. With the help of the Chou's leader, who managed to remove his locks and summon his sight while unlocking high-level skills, he unleashes all of his true power. He quickly uses his sight to slash the explosive witch's chest while threatening to restrain her. Then reaching out his hand, he begins to absorb its power, expanding the scope of his boundless potential. Though the threat is no longer present, Noi continues to be engulfed by his power and tries to harm Modus. He is quickly restored to normal by one of the masked members of Chou, who then reveals herself to be one of his classmates after using her skills. As soon as Noi enters his house, his classmate enters. He learns from her that Viros from the Night Wolf kidnapped the Chou's leader. She also warns him to be cautious of Viros because he will begin to target him because he believes he is the biggest bug in the game's current system. Noi tries to lead a normal life despite her warnings. He visits the cafe, returns to school, and spends time with his friends at the beach. His time in a bikini dream is abruptly ruined by a disaster in the middle of the ocean. In an effort to stop the disaster and prevent the cruise ship from being destroyed, he and Modus board a jet ski and set out into open water. They swiftly ascend the ship to the top where they call forth their swords to face the monster. The disaster attempts to sink the cruise ship using missiles, but Modus uses her sword to cut all of the missiles down, and Noi controls the disaster with his thread crafting abilities. The monster, however, continues to advance while casually destroying the threads. As they approach the ship on a jet ski, Modus, Bodyguard, and Cass decide to join the fight. Noah and the Bodyguard attempt to slash the thick disaster's head in half with their weapon while jumping on top of it. However, they are unable to even scratch its thick head. When Noah uses his powerful fire magic, the catastrophe is forced to retreat underwater. They must use their skills to avoid being hit by the monster's missiles as it begins to launch them. Both Modus and Noi are pushed into the water when some missiles explode midair. Noi releases Modus, who is bound by the catastrophe's tentacles, but he then gets caught. He encounters Gaia in his mind as he begins to lose consciousness due to breathing difficulties. The system behind the game Chou Sekai he belongs to. She quickly displays the picture of a woman and informs him that it is his missing mother who is trapped inside the game and that he must protect her. When he comes to, he discovers Cass in the water. She used a mysterious power to protect him as she dove into the water to save him, while also using a laser beam to put an end to the disaster. The group reassembles and begins to discuss the circumstances and the rise in disasters. Blondie, however, inserts a chip into Modus' headset in the real world, causing her to log out and become unconscious. When the Modus bodyguards log out to investigate the cause of her coma and how to save her, they quickly learn that if they take off her headset, she will remain trapped in the game indefinitely. They quickly look into the system's details and learn that Modus' father and Noi's father Guerrillo created Gaia as a system. Noi is seated next to Modus' body in the meantime because she's unable to log out of the game. Gaia appears out of nowhere and touches Modus' head, teleporting him into her consciousness where he encounters Modus once more. They witness memories of Modus from the past where he is with Noi's parents in an amusement park, revealing the two were once acquainted 10 years prior. Additionally, they observe the two families socializing together as their parents discuss their work. Everyone's having a good time when Hira, Noi's mother, sees the young Gaia and goes over to talk to her. Gaia begins to cry when she sees Modus expressing her love for her father. This upsets the stability of the system and causes everything in the area to vanish. Noi rushes to his mother's side after observing his mother comforting Gaia with a hug. However, Gaia again loses control out of jealousy and confines Hira inside a dark sphere while attacking Noi and everyone else. Except for Modus' father, who stayed in the game to take Noi back with him, everyone else started to log out after Noi's father attempted to fix the system but was unsuccessful. Modus and her mother, however, were able to log out in time before the building began to collapse, crushing the capsules containing Noi and her father's real bodies. He grew up in the Chou Sekai game without any memories of his past, and Noi's consciousness somehow managed to survive in the Gaia system. Blondie is actually revealed to be Noi's older sister. To wake Noi up from the coma, her father makes her remove the chip from Modus' helmet. After seeing their memories, Modus and Noi both wake up in the game, but at the same instant, Varos shows up outside prepared to remove Noi from the system. As their battle starts, Varos summons a number of magic balls, but Noi responds with a fireball. Then Varos restrains Noi so that she is unable to flee by using her magic. Cass appears and attempts to prevent the magic by standing in its way. She abruptly transforms into a disaster that Noi's father had created specifically to serve as his guardian. Cass begins to disappear. She won't be able to reply this time. She sacrificed her life to keep Noi safe, then gave him access to her power before disappearing entirely. Finally, Noi stands back up, prepared to face Varos and exact revenge on his childhood friend. He defeats Varos using his strongest fire magic, and when Varos explodes unexpectedly, Gaia teleports him to where Hira is, telling Noi once more that he must save his mother before she vanishes from the game and even from reality. While explaining how regretful she feels for separating his family and for being the reason he's not alive anymore, Noi accepts her apologies and uses his friend's console to summon himself to his companion's side. Suddenly, Virus appears once again after using the same method to return and finish his job. Virus reveals itself to be another AI bug system created to destroy any bugs like Noi who threaten the virtual world's safety. He's the one who's been summoning disasters in every place that Noi has been to. The group decides to fight together and defeat Virus, but every time someone cuts him in half, he makes 2 copies of himself. Although they repeatedly cut him down, his numbers only expanded. Modus implores Noi to hurry to the Black Sphere and concentrate on rescuing his mother, but Virus stymies him and casts a barrier, allowing them to fight in peace. Noi advances with his great axe towards Virus as Modus pierces the Black Sphere. Virus' axe is split in half, but Noi still uses the handle to stab him until he dies. The casts are revived and are able to carry on with their lives in the Chou Sekai world after Mode succeeds in destroying the Black Sphere, saving Noi's mother. And the anime ends here. Make sure to subscribe for more quality contents. See you in the next video. Take care, and goodbye.